Good morning. This is Sharon from Sharon Shed Signs and Designs. Come in and say hi. Let me know that you're here. I'm going to get us brought up on my page and on Decoupage Central's page so that I can see comments. I hope. There I am. And I just realized I didn't put on an apron, but I think I'll be okay. Alrighty. Let's see. There's Decoupage Central. Say hi. Let me know you're here. Let me get it brought up on. Somehow I know. When Rye was here over the weekend, he used my iPad. I'm like, why am I getting feedback? Sorry about that. Hang on just a second. I'll get us brought up on my page. There I am. And now I can see comments. Hi, Donna. Hey, Brenda. How are you? So, okay. All right. I've got something fall-like planned today, and I hope it's going to be cute. I think it will. I'm using this beautiful rice paper called William Morse for Decoupage. It's a navy blue, and it's got like gold sunflowers, and I think the bigger ones are maybe coxcomb. I don't know, but it looks like fall to me. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use some molds. So we're going to get that mixed up first. I'm going to use sunflower, and I'm going to use the acorns and oak leaves. Or I guess it's called oak leaves and acorns. So I had it backwards. I'm going to use amazing casting resin because I love it before using with these molds. I'm going to put in my part A. I already kind of calculated from the amounts on my molds, how much I think I'm going to need. And I usually miscalculate, so let's see. Good morning, Joyce. Hey, Pam. Hey, Hazel. Good to see you. Good morning, Brenda. Let's see. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. Now my part B, and you use equal amounts if you haven't used this before. It's so easy to use, really easy. And I'm not going to time it. You're supposed to time it for a minute, but it seems to me like here lately this gets almost starting to set up before a minute's passed. So I'm just going to stir it good and get it mixed up good. And it starts getting warm to the touch when it's all mixed up good. Plus, when there's no swirls of white left in there, it gets pretty well ready. You gotta be sure and stir at the bottom and the sides, scrape them as you go. And I think that I'm gonna start pouring because this stuff sets up fast, and I don't want it to set up before I want it to. And I think I've got it mixed up good. So we're gonna see. I could be wrong, but we're going to try it this way. All right, I want this big sunflower. We know that. Try not to pour so that it goes out over the edges, but if it does, it's not a huge deal. I'm going to take my little stick, kind of get out to some of these points where it didn't just naturally run. All right, I think that I have it. Okay. I want the stem, I know. Or I think I'm going to use the stem. Not too sure how this is going to work out, how I'm going to create it. I haven't got a clear picture in my mind, but we'll see. And the leaves. And I dribbled all over the place that time. See, it's already getting white and set up. Ugh. I don't know what the deal is, why it's so fast anymore. That is nuts. So, I've got everything I want on the sunflower mold, and I'm going to obviously have to mix up more resin to do my other side. But you see what I mean? It sets up really fast. So, I'm going to move that out of my way, and I'm going to mix up some more, and I'm just going to kind of guesstimate what I want. I know it won't be as much for sure. So, is this A? Yeah. I'm going to go like 40 milliliters. That's that. This should go up to 80. Eye level's kind of good, so, and that looks like that's okay. And it's already turning white, it looks like. I don't know. Anyway, we will stir this up just kind of real quick like. I'm not going to stir it as long as I did last time, and I thought last time I did it pretty short. But it is clear, so we're going to pour. Okay, I don't know exactly what I want to use, but we'll just pour some. I like the little acorns. Really makes me think of fall. So I'm going to pour those, and then I'll pour some leaves, and if I don't use all of them today, I'll have them for another project. About got it. There, I've used it all, so we'll have some extras. That worked out a lot better for me than the other did. I think that from now on I won't try to mix such a huge amount at once and mix it less time. Anyway, while that's setting up, which won't be long, I am using a 10 by 10 wood canvas. I've taped it off to add a frame, and I measured it, and it was 8 by 8. So I have that drawn on the back of my paper, and I'm going to cut that out, but let me say hi because I got behind on my comments. Hey Pam, and Joyce, good morning, and Elizabeth, and Joan. I'm making a mess so far. Elizabeth. No, I'm going to do a fall, use this fall paper and sunflower and oak leaves and acorn molds. You've been making a lot of molds? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jeanette. Plus it's fun to make a bunch of them. Oh, thank you, Michelle. Sometimes I make an amazingly huge mess. Hi, Raquel, how are you? All right, I'm going to cut out my piece of rice paper, and hopefully it's gonna be the size I need. And I will use the rest of this rice paper on another project because it's too pretty to waste. I will put a description of what I've used and my link for Decoupage Central in the description of the live after I post it when the live's over. Okay, tear that little piece off, lay this aside. Not perfect, but pretty good. Pretty good. It'll be good. All right. I'm going to paint it white. I've got a few gaps, and I'll fill that in with some Midnight Blue Fusion Mineral paint. That should be the right color to go with it. Let's see. A brush and some white paint. And I'm going to use my Folk Art Vintage White like I normally do. All right. I don't see any comments on Decoupage Central's page, so I was trying to keep up. Good morning, Michelle. Oh, well, you told me I was amazing at crafting. And I said I make amazing mess, and I do. Hey, Pam. But I love to craft. I always have. A couple of my aunts when I was growing up were amazing crafters. They did a lot of sewing, and that's something I'm not really good at. I don't have the patience for it. But my mother wasn't too much of a crafter, but when she did do something, she was so neat about it. And so I didn't inherit that. I've more got my dad's, it'll be what it'll be attitude, and just keep going. Slap it on there. Bless his heart, I think my dad had ADD long before that was a thing, but he did some funny things. Quite a guy. I paint under my rice paper with white almost always because it makes the colors stand out. All right, and I know I've got too much white on there. I'm going to have a little space, I'm sure. All right, but I'm going to dry this. Hey, Helen, how are you? You didn't get the sewing gene? Yeah, me either. And my sister, I only have one sister, but she doesn't craft at all. But I had a couple of aunts and a great aunt who were beautiful seamstresses, but they passed me by. For sure. Gonna be another hot day here today. I assume it probably will be where you're at. Hey, Dad. Good morning, Barb. Good to see you. You guys all ready for the 4th? Not much preparation around here. I've got to fix a couple of dishes to take to a party we'll have tomorrow night with a bunch of people from our church. So it'll be fun. It always is. I think that's good and dry. So, I'm going to take up my tape. And you can see it really doesn't make a lot of difference in the color of the board because I used an off-white and the board's kind of light. I've got that in a mess. I'll just use some more. I'll use my sensitive surface brogue tape. I've got enough. I've got more, but I don't have it right here. So try to tape around the edges. Get my X-Acto knife. It's easier to cut it than to just tear it. You just got to be careful not to gouge your wood. Okay. I tore off way too long that time. Exercise day, so I'm going to go do that after the live. It's been too hot to get out and walk. One more piece. And you want to make sure you've got it smoothed down good so that you don't have bleed. I think that my stuff is ready to demold, so I'll go ahead and get that done. And there's my sunflower, isn't that pretty? I love all the detail on these molds. And if you overflowed and you have any places on your what you molded that you don't want, you can get rid of those. And even this leaf that's all messed up in the back is pretty and can be used. Just need to get some of that off of there if I can without cutting my fingers off. You know what? I can sand it with some sandpaper and that'll work. I'm making a big mess, but all of my floor. Okay, that works. Lay that aside, and then my acorns. Aren't they cute, little acorns? I love them. I hadn't used this mold yet. I did run over a little bit there, but you can always get it off. Let's see. And I like that these are really pliable, and I heard that if you let them set till they get hard and you want them to be pliable so you can bend them around something, that you can run your heat tool over them and heat them up and they'll be pliable again. I have not tried that. Have to do that sometime. My oak leaves. I like that one with the acorns. So cute. And I love the way these pop out of the mold. No real mess, it just all comes right off. You don't have to use anything in your mold to keep it from sticking. That is a baby acorn. You just can't hardly mess up your molds with using this casting resin, I'll tell you. It's amazing stuff. All right, now we got all of our molds made, and I'm going to use some Decoupage Burn Umber. And I've got some more here on my table somewhere, right there, because that is pretty well empty. A little bit of water. Or not such a little amount, maybe. I'm going to stir that up. I don't need a great big stick. It really doesn't matter too much about your consistency on this. It works. It works, whatever you do. I'm going to use my Harbor Freight stain pad though. We finally made it to Harbor Freight. It's just much easier than a brush for putting it on. Not totally sure I want this framed, but that's what I'm going to go with. In fact, I'm not totally sure how I want any of this. I just really like that paper. I thought it made a pretty fall item. Fall and Christmas are my favorite times to craft. I like patriotic too, but I love them fall and Christmas. Most of all. All right, I think that's a little quicker than using a brush. So I'm going to keep my stain pad in a baggie, and I use it over and over until it falls apart. You could probably wash it. I don't, as long as I'm using the same color of stain, which I am most of the time, even though I've got all colors. I reuse it. Well, thank you, Angie. I appreciate that. Hey, Decoupage by, is that pronounced Roof? I'm sorry. I'm not good with pronunciations, but hello, I'm glad to have you. You love painting the molds? Oh yeah, Jan, I need to sweep in here. I cleaned the rest of the house yesterday. But I've got to sweep and mop in here. I do indeed. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. All right, that's good. Stars party. I've never had that. Hey, Crystal, how are you? Okay, there's my board that I'm working with, and I know got a little too much white, but not bad. Pretty close. Pretty close. What I'm deciding is if I do this, I can have it just have the extra on that side, and then, or what I think I'm going to do to make it actually look better is some guesswork. Just going to move in just a little. That may not be enough. Let's see. Because it won't matter if I have a little of the brown stain under my rice paper. Same thing on this side, top to bottom, it pretty much seemed okay. So I'm going to take my stain pad again, right through it. Probably got enough on there to do this. All right. I think I'm going to take a brush, a small one, and my stain, because it's over white and it's having a harder time covering it. There we go. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it won't be. All right, let's see if we got that good enough now. Yes, but I don't have it good enough at the bottom. I thought I did. All right, so I'm going to use another piece of tape. And my stain on a brush again. So, you can always fix this, guys, if you don't get your paper cut exactly the right size or whatever. There's not much with crafting that can't be fixed. It's only paint. Dry that real quick. I'm brave to stain without my gloves. Well, this is just acrylic paint, so it'll wash off. That's right, I make it work. Don't sweat the small stuff. It works. A little darker than I want right there, so I'm going to add the water. And I've got a washcloth right here that I used last week when I did my paint inlays. There. All right. Good enough. Now let's see if this is going to work to decoupage it. And try to get my flowers in the right direction. Yes, it is. Just that one little corner. There. All right, we're good. So I'm going to use Mod Podge. And there we go. And it won't hurt if I get out of lines on this because it's just a top coat, more or less a sealer. It'll dry clear. I don't worry about being too precise. It takes all the fun out of it. For me. I'm not a measurer most times. Or think that everything has to be perfect. It's handmade, it won't be perfect. All right. Let's see if I get that laid down. And I can see that I do not have that cut straight. So, now looks better. Going to put a, well, I'm going to dry it just a little bit first. I don't want to get it too wet. Hey Karen, how are you? I am doing a fall picture, I guess. Thanks, Angie. It can all be fixed. And it really was a little bit difficult to get the rice paper cut to the right size. It would have been easier if I'd just done the whole thing, but I wanted a frame. So, whoa. I poured a bunch of Mod Podge out. I'm gonna lightly put some on the top as a sealer before I go further. Just make it easier to be dusted off or wiped off. And that's what I like about rice paper as opposed to napkins. I have a problem when I use napkins with it getting wrinkled or torn when I put my top coat on. So that's why I love rice paper. It doesn't do that. Now I'm going to pour a bunch of this Mod Podge back into my jar. Because that was a ridiculous amount. This kind of all came whoosh. I'm deciding what's the right side up, and I've decided that is I had it backwards. Well, I had it backwards to you guys. You usually eyeball, I do too, Angie, and my eyes don't always eyeball correctly, but it's, you know, it can be fixed. You just trust the process. I'm going to decide exactly what I want to lay on here and how, and then I will paint them. But I think I want my sunflower, and let's see, I'm going to get my scissors. Gonna kind of put that right there, I think. Yeah, fits in right there. I want maybe that leaf. That's not where I want that. I want it over here. So, I'm going to decide how I want that. Yep, that'll work out better. Then my leaf, but I also want some acorns in there. Let's see. Let's do this. I don't want to use too much stuff. So, Let me see. What do you think, guys? Too much? Not enough? You love the 3D? Yeah, I've got to get these painted, but I didn't want to paint a whole lot more than what I was going to use. So, I think I'm going to paint these. And that was my next thing. I thought about doing them with Fusion Mineral Paint in Midnight Blue. That's a navy. And putting gold rub and buff on them. Or white rub and buff. Looks good as it is. I think so too. It's not fall without acorns. That's right. So, the other thing is I also thought about painting them all with this brown and putting my rub and buff. What do you think, you guys? It's a toss-up for me. I'm not sure what color I should do it. Not too sure. Blue or brown? I don't know. I know that I just want it monotone. I've got that part in my head, but what I don't know is whether they'd be pretty in navy with the gold rub and buff or white wax, or whether they'd be pretty in brown with the, not with white wax, but with the rub and buff. So, I'm kind of thinking about going with my first impulse, which was the Midnight Blue. Yeah. Okay, Kimberly, that convinced me. That was my first impulse anyway. Paint them all navy and use gold rub and buff or white wax. Either one would be pretty. I'm going to paint them and kind of put them back down where I want them before I forget where I had them. So, get cracking on painting them. I love navy. Love it, love it. And you, of course, could paint it with all the details, but I thought since my paper was kind of monotone, that this should be too. That's my thinking. There's so much detail on these that it takes a little bit to get them all painted, but this one will be the worst. And so I'm also thinking that I'm going to go with the gold rub and buff rather than the white wax, but we'll see if it stands out or not. But that would keep it true monotone. Ooh. Going fairly fast, considering it's a big sunflower with quite a bit of detail. You can use these sunflower molds with so many different papers, and I love sunflowers, especially for fall. I planted sunflowers last year. I did not plant anything or put anything out this summer because I didn't want to have to water it. So, I found these flowers on Amazon, And wow, you guys, they pop and they look real. When my husband come home, I had them out on the porch, he thought they were real. A friend of mine had some, and she said the bees were even trying to get pollen from them. And my sister had saw some, she was watering for a neighbor, and she had some in her backyard, and she said she started to water them. So now, what way did I have that? Yeah, I'm liking the navy. There, that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and do my stem. And I'm making a mess. I should have dried that, but I just wanted to get it laid down. No biggie. Okay. Maybe I should start drying it before I plop it down. You know, Connie, I don't think it is. Not on Decoupage Central. When I checked, I didn't think it was there. You could possibly find one on Etsy somewhere. Yeah, I will send you a link for the faux flowers. They are beautiful, and they were on sale, and I just ordered one package of them, and it fills a good medium-sized pot on my porch, and I've got them in a little stand. They look really pretty. So yeah, I'll send it to you. If I forget, send me a message or something, but I will get it sent to you today before I do forget, if I can. Okay. I am liking the navy. I'm glad I went with that. Okay. And I know I'm going to be wearing this, but make sure you get all the edges, because some of them will show. All right, dry that one. You guys, if you have questions and I miss them, I will answer them later on today. There, and my leaf. I think I'm really liking this. I think I am. I just crossed my mind maybe I could glue them as I was doing it, but I don't think I will, because if I do, I will have this paint permanently on my fingers with the stick fast. So I think I'll wait. Wipe my fingers off before I use stick fast, because I don't care what I do, I always manage to get it all over my fingers. This is really cute so far. When I thought of doing this, I thought, I don't know if that's going to look good or not, but wouldn't be the first time I did something that didn't, so I went for it. The paper is available on Decoupage Central, and the acorns and leaves are also. I don't think sunflowers are. But I went ahead and used them because I thought a lot of people have them. Plus, I'm sure you can probably find them somewhere online, probably on Etsy. It is a good mold. And it could be that John L. will get them again for Decoupage Central. I don't know about that. Almost got them painted. Then I'll glue them down and put the I don't even know what, the rubbing buff. Yeah, okay. But I have got where, well, I don't know, it's a toss-up whether molds or inlays are my favorite. I love them both. And I like the stamps too. I need to use them. I haven't done that for a while. Other than I did a reel this week with a stamp. IOD just has cool things. See the white spot? There. One more little acorn, and we'll be good. Another white spot. And the rubbing buff probably would hide the white spots, but okay, what a mess. Yeah, sunflower. I'm using the sunflower and the oak leaves and acorns, Nikki. And the sunflower is out of stock. I don't know whether Decoupage Central will have it back again. I don't know. And I haven't tried, but I'm betting you could get it somewhere online. All right, we're going to use Stick Fast, so I'm going to clean my fingers off before they're navy blue for a week. They may be anyway. Really got them blue. Wow, I don't know how I got to be such a mess. This finger and my thumb and we'll move on. It'll wear off eventually. Stick fast in it. I like to use either Stick Fast or Tight Bond on these because it's mixed surfaces, not all wood. And all right, it's almost sticking just because of the paint. All right, I've got Stick Fast out here somewhere. I think right like that works pretty perfect. Hold that down a second. And hope my fingers aren't permanently adhered to it. Well, I am almost stuck to that. Okay. That's not perfect. I don't like that. Wasn't the way I had it. But let's see. There. There. Okay. Leaf. Almost got it. Last one. And we're almost done. Okay. Got antique gold rubbing buff here. Let's see how that works. I'm liking that. Even that out a bit. Okay. Some of that where it's not so heavy. That is pretty. some places where I'm smearing that. Rubbing up where I don't want it. Let's see if this will take it off. Yep. Okay. Just a little bit more. That's fun. All right. What do you think, you guys? I think that's pretty. I hope you like it. Where do I get my stick fast? I think I ordered mine from Amazon, Brenda. In fact, I'm sure I did. I am sure I did. I hope you guys like this. I think it's pretty. I like the monochromatic. And that pretty well stuck to it. Stuck to being that. All right. Anyway. Hey, thanks for joining me, you guys. I think this is pretty. It was fun to do. I am pleased with how it turned out because, like I said, when I had the idea, I thought, I don't know. But anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful 4th of July, and I'll be live again Sunday afternoon at 2. So I will talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.